So it is an extremely historic day in clown world, as the Joker is set to be released in cinemas today. Now, there has been a lot of hype, but also a lot of controversy surrounding this film. Most of that controversy fabricated by the mainstream media themselves. But the question we have to ask is, why do the mainstream media hate this film? Short answer is, we all know already, it's another film that doesn't push the right messages. So the mainstream media, many of the film critics, have been smearing it. They don't like the film because the film doesn't ideologically align with them. Here's a perfect example of a film review from The Guardian that's obviously very, very unbiased and is completely balanced. Joker review, the most disappointing film of the year, because of course The Guardian would say that about the Joker. They've been bashing the film ever since its announcement and since the trailers came out. Yes, it is thanks to left-wing trash articles like this one that you have to beg people for pound donations at the end of every one of your articles. This is how most of the mainstream film critics have responded to the Joker film. They have gave it a negative review on the basis that it just doesn't push the right politics, the right political messages. But the fact remains, when it comes to mainstream film critics these days, as they analyse films, we all know that they're either paid off or are going to be extraordinarily biased. That is how most of the film reviews are these days, from these mainstream critics. I do not need some left-wing soyboy film critic telling me what didn't work for him in the Joker. It wasn't made for him. Now, most of the outrage, as I mentioned a moment ago, has been manufactured and fabricated by the woke-stream media coming out with utter nonsense, fake news, and the typical hysteria that they usually come out with. If we get this Vice article up right here, incel shitposts are making people nervous about the Joker premiere. The protagonist is a lonely white male rejected and beaten down by society. Check. He appears to live with his mother. Check. He seems to be interested in a woman who does not return his affections. Check. Yep, this is one of those typical articles that is just comparing the Joker to an incel, okay? And I have to say to anyone that actually believes this, if you actually believe that the Joker is an incel or the equivalent of an incel, then you obviously don't know what an incel is. But however, with the ridiculous hysteria that most of these supposed journalists come out with, like the one I've just showed you here from Vice, that hasn't stopped certain people from falling for it. Joker spurs security precautions from the US Army and the Los Angeles Police. Both the US Army and the Los Angeles Police Department will be on alert, and one theatre chain has banned all costumes during the screening of the Joker. Yep, how long before they ban clowns altogether in the United States? I won't be surprised if some crazy Democrat did actually call for something like that. Now, talking about all of the mass hysteria surrounding this film and all of the outrage it seems to have caused, it seems that the director of the Joker was aware of this. He knew how many mainstream blue checkmark film critics and journalists would react to his film. Joker director Todd Phillips says woke culture has ruined comedy. Phillips and Phoenix have both defended the Joker from accusations that it glorifies extreme violence. The Joker director Todd Phillips has claimed he quit comedy because woke culture has ruined it. In many ways it has, with the extreme political correctness that we have these days, policing what you can and can't say, you're really limited on what kinds of jokes you can make. Before he took on the film portraying the origins of Batman's nemesis, Phillips was best known for his Hangover trilogy starring Bradley Cooper and Zach Galifianakis, as well as films including Old School and War Dogs. Speaking to Vanity Fair in a profile of Joker star Joaquin Phoenix, for the magazine's November issue, Phillips said comedy directors were being put off by a heightened sensitivity in popular culture. He apparently said, "Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture. There were articles written about why comedies don't work anymore. I'll tell you why, because of all this effing funny guys are like, F this shit because I don't want to offend you." And I believe he is spot on there. There are a lot of comedians these days that are limited on what they can say. They are scared of coming out with certain jokes at times as well, because they know that that joke that they come out with could stir up outrage, and they know that the newspapers may rip them apart the following day. That is how it is these days. That's how they try and police, what you can and can't say. It's how these SJWs try and control people. They think if they screech loud enough that they'll get what they want, and a lot of the time they do get that. Ultimately, with all of the news and the controversy that has surrounded the Joker film, I think it is safe to say that we really are living in a clown world. Now, personally, my opinions on the film, I think the film will be fantastic. In my opinion, you should not listen to the film critics, you should just go to see this film if you so wish to. If you're a fan of comic books or the Batman, I highly recommend you go see it. The last thing you should do is listen to these film critics that are just telling you that it's incel propaganda. The last thing you can do surrounding all of these SJWs attacking this film is give them the attention that they want. But ultimately, people, be sure to let us know what you think about this down below. What are your opinions on the Joker? Are you going to go see the Joker like I am? Be sure to let us know what you think about this down below. Alright gentlemen, this has been Lord Flashheart. Be sure to rate, comment, favourite, share and subscribe, and I will see you again. Cheerio!